What's good, YouTube? You know who it is. Anubis here, representing Anubis Gaming, bringing you another exclusive video, this time on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'm super excited to share this information I have with you guys. You may know, you may not know, but there are combat rigs in Infinite Warfare. Goodbye, specialist. We've got combat rigs in Infinite Warfare. Regardless to how you may feel about it, that's the way it is. Today I'm going to tell you what they are, how they work, and the pros and cons of combat rigs as I see it. I'm also going to give you all some in-depth information about the combat rig Warfighter. We'll be covering that in detail in this video as well. Okay, so combat rigs as a whole, there are 6 of them that we know of, okay? They're similar to Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Specialists. In fact, there are some combat rigs which give you abilities that are identical to the abilities that we've seen in some of the specialists on Call of Duty's Black Ops 3. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but there it is. Each combat rig comes with a payload and a trait. Now, there are 3 of these that you can choose from. 3 payloads for each combat rig and 3 traits for each combat rig. You can use one of each in your gameplay. You cannot mix and match these payloads and traits. So certain combat rigs only have certain traits, and you can only use the traits and payloads that are available for that combat rig. So you have to stick with the payloads and the traits attached to that specific combat rig. Payloads are very similar to the specialist weapon that we see in Black Ops 3. It's basically a weapon or an ability that charges up over time. It charges up on its own, and it also charges up much more quickly as you earn score. We've seen this before. Traits, on the other hand, do not require a charge up. I look at them as an extra perk. They're attached to a combat rig. There's no need to charge them up because they're always running once you select them. One thing I found interesting from the sources I've used is that rigs can be changed mid-game, unlike specialists in Black Ops 3. So in Black Ops 3, you select your specialist, you can't pause and choose another one. However, it seems that with Infinite Warfare, you'll be able to pause your game and select a different rig mid-gameplay. How do you guys feel about that? I feel like it's really going to give us an unpredictable experience in Infinite Warfare as compared to Black Ops 3. We've all had that nemesis on that map that we're fighting, and they keep killing us, or we keep killing them, but we know what their specialist ability is, so we know what we need to be looking out for. With Infinite Warfare, it takes things to the next level. So what that means is, this guy that you've been in this gunfight with repeatedly on next spawn may have a completely different ability than the one that he used to take you out with last time, so we have to stay on our toes. It's exciting. I think it's refreshing and unpredictable. It will make the game a bit harder. Also, these rigs will not be attached to a certain class, so there will be a separate menu allowing you to change your rig mid-game, I'd assume, kind of like you can change your class mid-game or upon your next spawn. Okay, now that we have the basic understanding of combat rigs, let's get into some more specific information about the combat rig we're going to be covering now, which is Warfighter. Warfighter has a combat style that is mid-range assault, okay? His payload, like I remember, we have 3 payloads we can choose from with any of our rigs. His first payload that we're going to cover is Claw. Now, Claw is described as a rapid-fire spread shot weapon with ricochet bullet. Oh my goodness. Ricochet ballistic rounds designed to take out the enemy in front of you and around blind corners. You can aim down the sights with this weapon for more focused damage. Now, this seems like a really cool weapon, as you can see in this trailer we have for multiplayer here. This thing is just ripping people up. Now, I wasn't at COD XP, which is where you were able to play Infinite Warfare more early than others in the community. I wasn't there, but I have watched other YouTubers who were there, and they said that the ricochet actually takes enemies out. Like, it's no joke. You can really kill somebody by shooting off of objects and those bullets hitting them. When I first heard about this payload, I thought it might have been a little bit overpowered. However, as I think about Black Ops 3 and the specialist weapons we already have, things like gravity spikes, things like the Tempest, these weapons are already able to take out a lot of enemies if you use them correctly. So I don't really see any issues with this new payload. Okay guys, so the second payload that we're actually going to talk about is Overdrive. Similar to Ruin's Overdrive in Black Ops 3. It just gives you a temporary speed surge. The last payload we're going to cover is actually Combat Focus. You can earn double streak points from a limited time. So it's not really that new because we've seen something like this in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, but I think it's pretty cool that they brought this back and I'm looking forward to using it. Now let's get into the traits for the Combat Rig Warfighter. The first trait we're going to cover is called Ping. Kills and assists activate a sonar ping at the enemy's death location, revealing nearby hostiles to teammates. Enemies killed by teammates after being pinged will give you bonus scores. Also, ping shows up for teammates too. I captured a little bit of the ping function working on the minimap in the Infinite Warfare trailer. As you can see, it doesn't really capture how it works accurately because there was no enemies around the person that died, but if there were, they would have shown up in that little circle that you see coming out like a little radar. How do you guys feel about that? I think that it could possibly be a bit too much. As we know, in Black Ops 3 and every other Call of Duty game, we've got people who are very good at the game. If these guys are racking up many kills and revealing the locations of enemies around them, it can really seem like an infinite UAV if you've got a really good team and you've got a person running ping, because you don't have to run the perk to see where these enemies' locations are at. Also, it works for kills and assists, so this can really be a big boost to your team if you're running ping, or if you have a teammate that's running this trait. This can really allow you to pick up those kills and earn those score streaks just a little bit faster. However, I'm sure there's got to be some type of trait attached to these other combat rigs that will combat that will nullify this. So I mean, maybe Ghost will work as a perk, and allow this ping not to work on you, so maybe it won't be overpowered at all. Maybe it will be balanced, but we'll have to see. Now the last trait that I want to talk about is Persistence. Score streaks no longer reset when you die, but take higher point values to attain. You can only earn each of your score streaks one per match. Now, this could be potentially bad or good. I mean, as long as it depends on how many points you have to get to attain your score streaks, because it says here that it's going to take a higher point value, but how many more points, It could be very helpful to people who aren't necessarily the best at the game. But then again, it's also good because people who are very good at the game, seeing as you can only use your score streak once with this trait, they can't just keep getting these very powerful score streaks over and over again, which I really like. Now this could be a bit limiting if you're a better player, because you can only get that score streak once. But if you're on the struggle bus riding shotgun, sitting in the front seat of the struggle bus like me sometimes when I play Call of Duty, I'll tell you, this persistence trait is a godsend for you, because now you can die as much as you want to, but you might still be able to get your score streak even if it's just once. That can change the tide of the game, so some people may feel it's a bit overpowered or too much for people who aren't necessarily as good as others at Call of Duty games. I know I said persistence was the last trait we were going to talk about, but I lied. We've got one more. It's called Resupply. Now, Resupply allows you to resupply lethals and tacticals by picking up scavenger bags after successful kills with bullet weapons. Now, this leads me to think that the scavenger perk won't actually resupply your lethals and tacticals in Infinite Warfare. I honestly don't know if it did that in Black Ops 3 or not, as I don't usually use scavenger. But I do know that it did it in other Call of Duties. Your lethals and tacticals automatically came back. So perhaps this scavenger just won't do it. Or I don't know. I mean, it says here picking up scavenger bags, so maybe you already have to have that perk. You might have to have scavenger perk and then have this trait to do it, but that'll be something interesting to see. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Okay guys, so overall, from what I've seen in this combat rig Warfighter, it just looks like a really great combat rig for someone who's more aggressive in the field, and they really enjoy rushing and getting that score streak up. Maybe not so much for the defensive player, but well, it could be, I guess, with persistence. I mean, your score streaks, you know, won't die when you die, but this looks like a combat rig that's really going to work well for someone who's running, gunning, and going straight for that head. Can't even lay down around these guys because they got their crosshairs on you. Anyway, guys, which combat rig do you guys want next? We've got the Merc here, heavy infantry combat style. We've got Synaptic for close quarters combat. I kind of am looking forward to that one. We've got the FTL, assassin combat style. We've got the Striker for tactical support, and we've got the Phantom, which is a marksman. Leave in the comment section below which ones you guys want to go over next, and I'll have that video ready for you soon as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Join the Anubis army. We are always enlisting, looking for people who enjoy quality gaming content. Follow me on Twitter, Anubis109. Anubis, peace and out.